Hey everyone, this is going to be my Raw video. I'm actually recording two today, which is why I'm still in my gym gear, because I will do one a bit about how I've got into fitness and stuff. But for now, let's talk wrestling. Let's start with my favourite guys, shall we? What's been happening around for Wyatt 6 and the Alpha Academy, just because I enjoy starting with them. By the way, can you see my Raw Women's Championship on my wall? I thought I'd position it so you can see it. Right, so the first thing to do with this storyline, we see Maxine, Otis and Tozawa, and they're talking about helping somebody because they're their friend. Chad Gable unfortunately overhears this and thinks to mean him. And he's like, thank you, I thought you'd come to the senses. Maxine explains, I don't mean him. They actually mean they're going to help Xavier Woods against the Final Testament, because obviously Kofi Kingston's been written out. So Chad is still pretty much on his own as far as the Alpha Academy at this point. People have already noticed, we can see Ramblin' Rabbit in the background. So things have popped up quite a couple of times. Like, you've noticed the old Huskus mask from the first time we tried to bring in live versions of the puppets. So yeah, it's like they're spying on Chad. Chad does definitely seem to be the target at this point. They don't seem to be after Jay. We will be mentioning what Jay Uso's been up to this week later on. And then we get to see the VHS that was given to Pat McAfee, not actually at Raw. It was given to him when he was recording the Pat McAfee show. So obviously the Wyatt family is still sort of tailing him as well, for whatever reason. I don't think there's a lot of explanations for that at the moment. It's actually Eric Rowan this week, so I think we are going to get different videos for all of the members at some point. It's quite a sad one, really. He basically talks about how he lost a brother by this means Luke Harper, the earliest death of the Wyatt family members, because obviously we know two of the main members died. That was Luke Harper. He says in that situation you dust yourself and get back up again. But then afterwards he lost his other brother, by which he means Brain. That's when it's sort of very emotional. It's very heart-jerking. They're really doing a good job at this. And it explains where Eric Rowan's motives for joining Bo Dallas and Howdy are make sense in this occasion. He gets given the sheep mask. Howdy, so it's meant to be Howdy, but I don't think we actually saw him this week. He gives him the old sheep mask from the original Wyatt days. He asks him how's it make him feel. He talks about how it gives him hope, and he seems appreciative. He says that they actually helped pull him back up after Bray Wyatt's death, and that with their pain they're going to make beautiful art. Which is quite an interesting quote, and it's kind of sinister. I'm really loving this. Are we going to get Dexter? Is Dexter actually going to talk? What's Joey Gacy's gonna have to say on one of these VHSs? Where's Nikki Cross coming into it? Because we know who they all are. We've seen them without the mask on previously, but Nikki didn't actually take her mask off. So later on anyway, Chad Gable is actually in the ring. And he has actually called him out. Bo Dallas has been saying he was going to do that. So Bo Dallas does come out. He's like, there you are. Chad does actually have help. The Creed brothers come out with him. They start beating down on Bo Dallas for a few minutes, but Bo Dallas just keeps laughing. There's a Luke Harper reference with a yeah, yeah, yeah. Have you noticed that? But then the lights go out and the other Wyatt six members come out. And they all just kind of hightail it, and then they're just left posing in the ring with Bo Dallas. And a lot of people have already commented on how much Bo Dallas looks a lot like his brother Bray. You can see how much it actually means to him to be doing this, and it's just so nice. Like I say, I'm so proud that Bo Dallas is a fan. I don't think he watched these, but you know. Anyway, that kind of covers Wyatt's 6 for this week. Been a lot of interesting stuff with the Judgement Day again. The other main storyline that's happening on Raw. We kicked Raw off with Rhea Ripley actually. She's getting a lot of good reaction. She's clearly being very babyface. She says Liz walking around with something of hers. She'll get to Dom later. She doesn't mean Dom. She's talking about walking with a women's title, but she didn't actually lose because if you remember, she had to vacate it due to injury. She's actually going to wrestle for a few weeks, but she's appearing for storyline purposes to build up for a match. Dominic comes out with a rose. I love this. He comes out with a rose, calls her Mamacita, this is all clearly reference to the Eddie Guerrero thing. I am your pappy, if people remember that very well, and that's their way paying tribute to Eddie in this storyline as well. There's lots of tributes. It seems like they like paying tributes at the minute. She's clearly blanking Dom though. She's clearly not impressed with him at this moment in time. Liz trying to talk to her. Liv appears on the screen. She apologises for not being there, but she says she's got a bad voice. She said she meant it when she wanted to take everything from Rhea, but she didn't originally know what she'd seen in Dom. But then she got to spend time with him and kiss him and all that, and that's when it became clear. So she's suggesting there that Dom grew on her. And she says that Liv is finally going to be on top. Rhea challenges her to a match at SummerSlam, which seems to be accepted, so that's what's going to happen. They're keeping Rhea out of action just while she's still not quite cleared, but they are going to wrestle at SummerSlam. And she threatens to end the career of Liv Morgan. Rhea does a good job at putting the anger in her face as well, looking like she means it. And then the next segment we see Dom and Rhea in. It looks like Dom set up some candles and flowers for her. He says he's trying to make it up to her, but she slams the door, then she opens the door again, chucks the flowers at him. So he's clearly still in the doghouse at this point. You see Damien Priest is asked how it's going. He looks like he's enjoying everything that's happening to Dom. Probably because he feels like he deserves it. Because as you remember, Damien Priest seems to be going babyface as well. And he tells him it's complicated. Later on, Rhea also asked why Carlito is hanging out in the clubhouse. To me, this suggests that she doesn't trust Carlito, which is not wrong to do. He seems very sly. I mean, you got to remember what happened with the LWO. I think Rhea and Priest are on the verge of leaving to be babyface as well. They're still going to have a heel faction, and Liv is going to be the female of the Judgement Day. I think there's potential. Well, I'll discuss that later actually, once we discuss a bit more what's happening. She also does bring up the fact that why has he not tried to contact and make it up to her over the last 3 months while she's been out? I think most women would be pissed in that situation if that was their boyfriend. If you've seen what he was doing on telly, what was happening with Liv, and he hadn't talked to her in the 3 months, I know I'd probably feel the same. We also see a moment where Dom and Priest are talking. Dom actually wants to know why he wasn't warned about Rhea last week, because just remember Priest was hinting at it. Jey Uso just happens to interrupt it. He says, "Tell Mummy I said hi," because you got to remember there's a thing with Jey Uso and Rhea Ripley as well. So yeah, Dom does actually request for a match after that. Because he says he wants to show that she still belongs to him. Rhea actually doesn't like the sound of that for whatever reason. She storms off from him again. So then later on we obviously get the match with Dominic and Jey Uso. Dom actually takes advantage to start with a sneak attack. Liv comes down during the match. She ends up on top of Dom again when she's knocked on top of him. And Rhea interrupts them again as it happens, and then Hi Kato's that she's not sticking around. This is the second time she's run from Rhea Ripley, so it's like she's talking a big game and then running off. I'm not actually a big Liv Morgan fan. This is probably the way to book her. Like she's showing off and cowardly when Rhea's not there, but when Rhea is there, she's afraid, as most women would be against somebody like Rhea. Dom actually loses because of a distraction outside of the ring, so Jey Uso gets the win. Later on, we see Rhea rid a Rose again, and she says to Dom, "I'm not yours, you belong to me." So it's this thing. It's got one wanting him to call him Mammy and one who wants to call him Daddy and treat him. So as far as this all goes, I have a feeling that maybe Rhea will end up either being alongside Damian Priest or maybe Jey Uso, because Jey Uso has asked her to go to Waffle House with him. Well, maybe Dominic is going to cost Rhea the match at SummerSlam. And that's when he finally is like a proper stable with Liv. Which ain't nice for Rhea. But I think Rhea and Priest are going to be faces now. We're going to end up out of the Judgment Day while the rest of them are still in it, basically. Speaking of Damian Priest, we have a build-up for him against Gunther at SummerSlam. They have a little bit of a chat. Gunther says to Priest, it may have been his dream to be a champion, but he's not living up to the hype. While Priest is kind of suggesting that Gunther isn't passionate and he questions his heart for this business. However, Priest this week has a match with Braun Strowman. It does come across as Priest is having trouble knocking down this huge, Braun Strowman's huge guy. He just seems to be having trouble knocking him down to start with. But he does ultimately get the win with a chokeslam, which looked pretty impressive. I guess he must be able to live quite a bit. Then him and Gunther have a little brawl after the match, and he ultimately actually seems to be beating down Gunther. I don't know what I want to happen at SummerSlam. I like both superstars. I mean, I want to see Gunther as a champion, but I can see Priest's reign lasting a bit longer. I know a lot of people have had criticisms of him lately, but that's where I am with it. We see a lot of developments within the stable of Sonya, Shayna and Zoe this week as well. So first off, we get a match between Zelina Vega and Sonya, which is Sonya's first match in a very long time, you have to remember. She comes down with her friends Shayna and Zoe. Zelina seems to have control. She's taking the high-flying advantage, like a lot of the little women do that high-fly. But ultimately she loses because when Shayna and Zoe help, Shayna bends her arm to start with when the ref's distracted. And then when Sonya wins, start beating down on Zelina Vega. Zelina Vega gets some help from Kaden Carter and Katana Chance. They also have a match, Kaden Carter and Katana Chance later. They come down with Leah Valkyrie, and they're actually fighting Shayna and Sonya. Shayna and Zoe, with Sonya at ringside this time. It's similar in that the little high flyers are taking advantage, but ultimately they end up losing to them tough MMA women. I think this is going to be a force to be reckoned with throughout the next few weeks. We're going to see an even stronger team with Shayna and Zoe with the help of Sonya. They're going to be such a force. I'd also, at this time, like to dispute all these people saying they're being put together because of sexuality. I mean, Zoe Stark has a husband for a start. I know the other two are sort of LGBTQ, but I don't believe Zoe is. I think she's actually a married woman to a man. You also had Sheamus versus Bronson Reed. Sheamus despite Bronson's kind of size advantage, Sheamus does manage to beat him down. But at the end of the match, we get Pete Dunne attack him as a brawl. So I think ultimately we're going to see maybe a short feud between Pete Dunne and Sheamus. It's a breakup of the Brawling Brutes. I'm wondering if Pete Dunne's going to say, "You gave me that stupid name, Brutus." We all know it was really Vince McMahon, but I think this is perhaps where it's going, that he was seen as weakened by his position in the Brawling Brutes. We also had an interesting segment between Drew McIntyre and Adam Pearce. Pearce says you are onto something special here with Punk. If you can control your unprofessional behaviour, you'll get your match at SummerSlam with him. You can hear the fans really want this as well. When Drew McIntyre asks him, "Are you wanting Drew versus CM Punk at SummerSlam?" Adam says all he has to do is apologise to the two refs for Money in the Bank that he attacked. Drew gets sort of angry. He says he's constantly getting screwed over, and it's under all of their watching her doing nothing about it, which is why he won't apologise. They should be apologising to him for everything that's happened to him at the hands of CM Punk. I sort of understand where Drew McIntyre is coming from personally. So Adam Pearce says he is still suspended. He shoves the refs over, phases off of Adam Pearce, but then Seth Rollins runs down. So he's got problems with Seth Rollins as well now. Ultimately, this is probably going to lead to a triple threat, I feel. We're probably going to get, because they've all got problems with each other, we're going to get Seth Rollins, CM Punk and Drew McIntyre in some sort of big triple threat. We'll have to see how we set that up in the next few weeks. So that's going to be the match for SummerSlam, because there's a couple of weeks yet. We also had stuff between Sami Zayn and Ilya Dragunov. So basically, we see Sami Zayn telling Ilya Dragunov that he wanted a match with him this week because he feels he deserves it. He's been watching his work. He sees how hard he works, how good a fighter he is. I've got to agree with Sami. In reality, Ilya Dragunov is amazing. And they tell each other the better green, the best game. So it was a very enjoyable match. But then we get Bron Breakker, who we know is still wanting to fight Sami for the title. Again, this is going to lead to a triple threat situation because he attacked the both of them. So that's where we're at with Raw this week. Keep watching. Please get me more likes and subscribers, share, whatever, please. I enjoy doing these videos. Thank you very much for watching if you do. And we'll get another Raw video next time.